Hello and welcome to Odds on Qualifiers for the World Cup. Last tickets to go to the World Cup this summer, and we have Alain Valnegri, we have Ronan Murphy, I'm sure very nervous to analyze with us these games that are going to be played on Thursday in Europe and also in Mexico, because we are going to analyze as well the international qualifiers. Plenty of tickets still available, so let's jump into the games. Let me know in the comments, who are you backing? Who do you think are gonna be in the World Cup? Italy missing the third World Cup in a row. Let's see. Let's go on now with the show. And in Europe, all the games are going to be played on Thursday. These are semifinals, KO, only one game, and one early kickoff. Turkey, Romania is the first one. The winner plays Slovakia or Kosovo away. And here we have a big favorite, Turkey, of course. Alain Valnegri, they don't play a World Cup since 2002, but they have a good generation. Of course, Arda Güler, Real Madrid player, 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀 from Juventus. They were unlucky, I would say. They were in the group of Spain, and they were thrashed by Spain. So they are favorites against Romania, big underdogs. We saw them losing to Bosnia, to Austria. So not sure if they have the level to beat Turkey away.
Yes, we are Turkey with probably one with his best generation in history. And we have Romania with they found a competitive generation. The generation of 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀 is really start to be far. The generation of 𝗀𝗵cie too. And yes, Romania have lose that quality that in the last 50 years, Romania have in every generation a dominant player. After 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀, we had Adrian 𝗀𝗵cie, and now it's difficult to find. 𝗀𝗀 was programmed to be this type of player, but in my opinion, he chose bad the club in his career, and he don't do the career relative to his talent. Now Turkey at home is totally dominant. We saw Turkey in the last 2 years losing only against two of the biggest or best team in Europe, like Spain and Portugal. Romania, when they played away, we saw in the end of the part of qualification lose the qualification in the direct match, especially away in Bosnia, in Cyprus, and in Austria. And for that, in my opinion, Turkey is really favorite. But we know Turkey sometimes they have some big pressure can be affect that young team, and right now it's difficult to choose one X or two for me, but at the end I choose Turkey winning with over 2.5 goals, odds 2.13.
Last time Romania was in the World Cup, it was in France, 98, Ronan.
Yeah, it's been a long time since either of these two teams have been in the World Cup, which is kind of surprised, because for Turkey, you kind of saw them, or maybe it was me growing up, and they were going throughout the 90s and into that 2002 World Cup. Like you mentioned, it was a team that you thought was always tipped as these are the dark horses for the World Cup, but they actually weren't in the World Cup. It must have been the European Championships each time they were there. So yeah, it'd be nice to see one of these two teams get back. Obviously, the World Cup expanded this time, so there's more chances for these teams, and that's why we're having these kind of convoluted playoffs with the Nations League qualifiers and all this sort of stuff. That Sweden are in it, even though they came last in their group, that kind of thing. But yeah, it'll be an intriguing match. It'll be a tense affair, I think. Like Alain said, sometimes the Turkey fans, if things aren't going their way, kind of in matches, they can sometimes start to turn on the team, or be a lot of pressure on these young players. So it could be a difficult encounter for them, but they have been in great form recently. The only match they've lost in the last 4 is against Spain, and that is Spain. They are the favourites for the World Cup at the moment. So, yeah, Romania on the road, like Alain said, they have not been good. The only match they won in the group was away at San Marino, and yeah, it was a disappointing kind of away form, and that's kind of why they were poor in the group. They finished behind Austria and Bosnia. They came third in their group, so yeah, they're here because of previous results and not necessarily this qualifying campaign results a couple of years ago. I suppose if you look at the AI for this one, SmartBet is going for a draw or Romania for 5 stars, maybe because the odds are so high, but I don't necessarily fancy it, and I don't think Alain does either, given his tip. So yeah, I don't think Romania are going to come out on top of Turkey in this one, because I think Turkey have too much strength, and Alain kind of listed some of the star players that they have. So I think Turkey will win this one, but I do like 4 stars for both teams to score, yes, because I think this could be an open match with plenty of goals in it.
Okay, even if we check the odds for goals, over 2.75 goals is 1.82. So the bookies indeed expect a lot of goals in this game. By the way, the winner of this path will go to the group with Australia, Paraguay, and USA. Now the game that matters, Ronan, Czech Republic, Ireland. Here also we have a big favorite, Czech Republic, playing in Prague. They don't play a World Cup since 2006. Well, they were second in their group behind Croatia, some big names, Souček or Schick, for instance. And Ireland, Ronan, was one of the surprises, I would say, in the last games, with big results against Portugal, against Hungary. Of course, that goal, that heroic performance of Parrot in Hungary. How is the vibe in Ireland? Is there hope to beat Czech Republic and play Denmark or Macedonia?
There is a ridiculous amount of hope. It is astonishing how much disbelief there is, or belief in the Irish team. I'm disbelieving that there's so much belief in the Irish team at the moment, because if you had have asked kind of in October, before the final 3 games of the group, Ireland were gone from the World Cup. There was talk that the manager should be gone at that stage, that we should be getting rid of him. But just in the after this squad announcement, it was confirmed that he got a new contract for after the European Championships, which Ireland are one of the co-hosts. So we should at least be at that one. But in the meantime, Ireland have to qualify for this. And I think a lot of people are thinking it is Ireland's best chance since 2002 to get to the World Cup. I know we had that Thierry Henry handball back in 2009. That was the closest we've got since. But this is an opportunity, because Ireland, if they can beat Czech Republic in this match, they have a home fixture against Denmark or North Macedonia. So there is confidence that that could be one of the biggest nights in Irish football history, because Ireland have been at the Euros a couple of times in the mid-2010s, but we haven't been at the World Cup since 2002, and some of these players that are in the squad, they were not born the last time Ireland were in the World Cup. So there is belief that we can do it. We're happy enough with the fact that Czech Republic are the draw, because I think Irish people are looking at the squad and thinking, well, some of these guys playing in the Czech league, and 𝘀𝗵cie just scored against them, against one of their teams in Europe in the last couple of weeks too. So yeah, there is maybe delusion is what we have at the moment, but that's the Irish spirit sometimes, yeah. And Ireland finished the group so well. I think there is kind of reason to have that belief, perhaps, because Ireland have shown against Portugal and Hungary, like you said, these are 2 teams that are better than Ireland on paper, better than Ireland in the FIFA World Rankings, that Ireland were able to get great results against, and the Czechs haven't got great form themselves. They beat Gibraltar 6-0 in their last group game, but they lost to the Faroes and they drew with Croatia before that. So I think there is a chance that Ireland could get something, but if Ireland are to get something, it will be all down to one man, and that is 𝘀𝗵cie, who came through his match in the Dutch league at the weekend without getting injured. I don't think as many Irish people have ever watched an Eredivisie game before, but they watched the full 90 minutes to make sure Troy was okay. He has 28 goals and 10 assists in 41 appearances for AZ this season. So that is a ridiculous form for any striker in any league. And him to score is 350, which I really like to look up. But like I said, he has 10 assists, and he had a really unselfish assist in Europe last week. So if he could do that again, he doesn't necessarily need to score for Ireland to qualify for the World Cup, but if he could assist, that would be good too. So him to score or assist is 275.
Well, last game then for Ireland in the World Cup was against Spain, Ronan, in 2002.
Yeah, we should have won that. Spain had 10 men for extra time, and Ireland's manager, Mick McCarthy, didn't even notice.
Penalties. Alain, Czech Republic or Ireland?
But when we check 225 of Czech Republic, his group was really weak. Probably the weakest group in the qualification, except Croatia. And my analysis is that how many games Czech Republic play against competitive team. And in 2025, only 2 games, or 2.5 maybe we can add Saudi Arabia, because he's from the World Cup. He grew in the last years, and in that game, Czech Republic don't win any games. Right now, Czech Republic lack talent. The programmed talent, Josek this season don't play in Offenheim. Lack creativity against a block like Ireland with full passion, with especially the state of form of part Ronan mentioned, with the direct football of Ireland and the illusion of with Ireland. Czech Republic is not in a really positive moment. For that reason, I choose the double chance. X2, odds 1.83.
All right, the winner goes or plays against Denmark or Macedonia at home of this group. So let's go to the game, Denmark and North Macedonia. Denmark smashed in Scotland in the last game, a key game in the qualifiers. 𝗀𝗲𝗀 showing a good level is the star of this game, playing for Napoli. And well, the last game for Macedonia, Alain, was 7-1 in Wales. Couldn't beat Kazakhstan. The only positive result, the draw against Belgium. So we can understand the odds, right?
Yeah, it's one of the most unbalanced in the game for this playoff. The suicide about Denmark in the last 2 journeys is totally crazy, because yes, there's lose in Scotland, but you can lose in the logical view. You can lose in Scotland, but to draw against Belarus at home, that day Denmark lose the direct ticket for the World Cup, and now against Macedonia is not difficult, but the final will be really hard, or maybe hardest than the game in Glasgow. And how is the state of Denmark when they're playing in Parken? I trust of them, except the drama game against Belarusia, because Denmark have everything to in every point of analysis. Denmark is better than Macedonia. Maybe the injured list is little long, especially in defense for Denmark, but I don't trust in Macedonia. I trust them in Cardiff in the last journey, and I don't trust more in Macedonia. Denmark for me is really favorite, and Denmark need to win clearly and score goal to arrive confident to the last game. I choose Denmark winning with over 2.5 goals, odds 1.95.
Okay, Ronan, I guess you prefer North Macedonia in a hypothetical final.
No, I'm going to say no, because Ireland have played Denmark so often in different qualifying campaigns, and might be revenge for the 2018 one, where it was the end of Martin O'Neill's tenure as Ireland manager when we lost 5-1 in the playoffs. So yeah, maybe it could be revenge, but I think there's an element where Ireland, when we have better opposition, we play better. We kind of raise our game to play better opponents, and then when we play people that we're expected to beat, like North Macedonia probably would be, we kind of lower our game to just below their level. So we actually play worse. So Ireland have lost to teams like Azerbaijan and Luxembourg in recent years, but then like we said, they beat Hungary and Portugal. So yeah, I think Denmark might actually be a better draw for Ireland, surprisingly. But for that, yeah, Denmark have to get past North Macedonia. And like Alain, I don't fancy this North Macedonia team a lot at the moment. They're not scoring a lot of goals. They've no wins in their last 4 games, although one of them was a 0-0 friendly draw with Latvia, but they weren't scoring. And they've only one game, or the only 2 games in 2025 where they've scored more than 1 goal in a match was against Liechtenstein. And we saw this Denmark team. I know they really fell apart at the end of the group stage, but they're still in the playoffs, and they were able to score twice in both matches. And yeah, Alain was saying the state of Denmark there. I thought he might be getting out a Hamlet quote that all is rotten in the state of Denmark, but I think they've turned a corner from that. I think they will turn a corner here, because they showed they will score goals. They've scored 2 or more goals in each of their last 5 games. I think they'll score plenty of goals here against North Macedonia. So I'm going for Denmark over 2.5 goals themselves, which is 2.45.
All right, well, winners plays Ireland or Czech Republic, and then Mexico, Korea, and South Africa. In the World Cup, then the big name in these qualifiers, Italy playing in Bergamo against Northern Ireland. The final should be in Wales, but this is kind of a nightmare for Italy. Missed the last 2 World Cups, also in this kind of playoffs where they were the favorites and they screw it up once again. Big favorites, Italy, 1.3, despite the heavy defeats against Norway. That's why they are not in the qualifiers. Allow me this time, Ronan, to go with Alain in first place, since I guess he's also nervous for this game. What is the vibe in Italy? Alain, is going to happen again, this nightmare, or Gattuso can guide the team to the World Cup?
Well, we have some different philosophy. No, we have people are actually anti-Italy and said Forza Island, and after we have the people are moving with the fear and speak about the last World Cup, etc. And we have the positive people, and I am part of the positive people for this game. After the final is another history, is another game. But for this game, I think we must be logical. If you are not able to win against North Ireland, and I have a lot of respect for North Ireland, you are not able to win against North Ireland at home, you don't deserve to go to the World Cup. It's easy. And yes, the problem of the limit of the Italian football in the competitivity, we saw that every week in European competition. Now, in my opinion, Gattuso are working with the head of player, with the psychology, and quit the fear and play with his quality, because in individual part, in collective analysis, Italy is better than North Ireland. Gattuso choose to play in Bergamo, to don't have or don't feel so many pressure respect to play in San Siro, play in Olimpico, to protect the player. Everything are positive right now. The key player, we don't have key player out. In my opinion, Italy really favorite. And I see Moise Kean score. Con Kean score odds 2.10.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Italy lost also in Palermo against North Macedonia. So even
yeah, but North Macedonia have more quality, and a lot of players played in Italy, and yes, of course. But yes, I think that team, this team, are more conscious, and Gattuso are working really well with the head, with player.
Ronan, your take in this game?
Yeah, my take is similar to Alain's. I'm not giving... I think people have watched the World Cup qualifying shows that we've done before. I don't necessarily give Northern Ireland a lot of hope in a lot of matches. And I know they did have some great results in qualifying, and they kind of were competitive at times, but most of those, or nearly all of those positive results, were in Belfast, because Windsor Park is kind of an intimidating place to go. It's kind of one of these smaller stadiums, and for some of these bigger teams, it can be problematic kind of to go there, and the the fans are always very heated, very up for these matches. They're very passionate about the Northern Ireland international football team. So, yeah, I think on the road it's kind of a different experience. I think if Northern Ireland had been drawn at home in this match, I think they might have had some sort of a chance. But because they're away, I do not think they'd have much of a chance. They lost 4 of the 5 away games they played last year in 2025. The only win was against Luxembourg. That's Luxembourg, so you would expect them to beat them. Although Luxembourg have been improving, like I said. But yeah, Northern Ireland, they don't have a good history against Italy either. They've only won once in 11 meetings. These two teams played in qualifying for the 2022 World Cup. Italy won 2-0 comfortably at home. So I think that's going to be another kind of situation like this. I think Italy will win this one easily and go on to the next round, and it'll be further disappointment for Northern Ireland, and maybe they'll have to regroup and look towards Euro 2028 because there's more space in that tournament for them and they have a chance. I know they're not hosts for it anymore, but they do have a chance of qualifying. Italy to win the first half, I like the look of it, 181, because the odds on Italy to win look like a safe bet more than something that we can kind of make a lot of money on. And then for that reason, I'm going for Italy half-time, Italy full-time, and that's 195.
Okay, smart bet for this game. Over 3.5 goals, odds are above 3. So really, really good odds if you think we are going to see goals in Bergamo, remember, in the stadium of Atalanta. Next game is Poland. Albania here favorites the home team. Poland, they were able to draw with Netherlands, for instance, recently. They are trying to reach the World Cup for a third time in a row, even with the big star Lewandowski in low form with Barcelona. The winner of this tie play Ukraine or Sweden. And Albania, Ronan, looking for the first ever World Cup. They were in the group with England, and usually we see really low scoring games with Albania. So perhaps this is a low scoring game?
Yeah, I think it could be. I think this is probably the kind of the playoff path that's the hardest to predict of the 4 teams that we have in these semi-finals, of which of them is going to go to the World Cup. I think these are all kind of close teams, and Poland obviously have the international pedigree. They have the pedigree of Lewandowski, but they're not necessarily the Poland that we've seen in the past. They're not as strong as they used to be. Some of the players are aging. Obviously, Lewandowski is himself. And this Albania team, they have been kind of very disciplined, very hard-working. They've got shock results. They've kind of come up a lot on the world stage in recent years, and I think they could do something in this match against Poland that could give Poland a few surprises, especially over 90 minutes. And they only lost twice in 2025, and both of those were to England, and those are matches you would expect them to lose. Poland, they are in a great kind of run themselves on being in 5 of which competitive matches. So yes, this AI is going for Albania to get something from this match, and I kind of like to look at that. Albania double chance at 225. I think that could be a decent option. Maybe they mightn't be able to last a full 120 minutes, but they could get a result in 90 minutes themselves. And this looks like a match to me again that has both teams to score in it, or this is going to be a high scoring game, because I know you said Albania keep things tight, but I think because of the nature of these matches, we're probably going to see more open games, especially come the second half of matches, because there's so much on the line in just a one-off playoff match. It just kind of gets players, gives them a greater sense of urgency, especially in the last 30 minutes. It will leave players kind of exposed as they search for maybe a consolation goal, an equaliser, or the goal to send them to the playoff finals. So I think this could be another match with plenty of goals. And total goals over 225 is 210 in this, and both teams to score is 232.
Well, Albania, Alain, they were able to knock out Serbia, the big rivals, actually.
Yeah, but special game. But Silvinho working really well without the ball. Albania is difficult to move. He's a low blocker, really strong, aggressive. The distance between the line are really short, and Polonia suffered to create football. Polonia is one of the most boring team when they must to attack low block. And I wait a really tactical match. Both teams know each other really well in the last 5 years. They meet each other in for the World Cup, for the Euro. And again, there will be play between us. In the history is curious. Is a curious statistic. In the history, in the 5 games played in Polonia, 4 times the game finished with 1-0 winning for Poland. And I guess my prediction go in this direction, and in the Ronan direction, I choose the under 2.25 goals for this game, odds 1.73.
All right, let's go to the next one. Is Slovakia Kosovo. This is low profile with Slovakia as favorites. They played the World Cup in 2010, and it was a big surprise because they beat Germany in the group 2-0. Also, they lost to them 6-0. But it's a team that keep things very tight historically and at the moment, Alain, and it's a big opportunity for Kosovo. They've never been in the World Cup. They were second after Switzerland in the group, even got a draw against Switzerland, and they have 𝗀𝗵cie, Mallorca striker, as the big star.
Yes, it's a team. It's similar to Albania, Kosovo, with the model of play. In 2025, the only no game for Kosovo was in Switzerland when they lose 4-0. But the group was not so easy because you have Slovenia, you have Sweden, and the team was really competitive away and at home. Now, going in Bratislava, the last time Slovakia lose a game at home in an official game was in 2023 against Portugal. And yes, it's not the most funny team. It's not the team with most fantasy, but it is a team with Calzone in the bench, have a clear idea of his model, clear idea what they're playing. Kosovo, I have maybe some doubts with the pressure, with the management of the pressure, because in his history, Kosovo don't have the habit to play that type of game. And I was curious about the odds of the over 1.75 goals. Probably is the highest odds I saw with the over 1.75 goals. I know both teams are conservative, are defensive, but that one is a semi-final for the World Cup. The team must to attack, and I wait minimal 2 goals. I choose over 1.75 goals, odds 1.65.
Kosovo beat Slovenia or Sweden, Ronan, to be here?
Yeah, they did well in that group. They kind of surprised many, and they have plenty of young, exciting talents. And you mentioned one of them, obviously. But yeah, this is a team I think that has maybe a bright future in international football. I think they could be a team that we'll look at as qualifiers for the next Euros. But Slovakia is a tricky affair, especially playing away, because they won all 3 home games in their group to 0, including that win over Germany. Like you said, 2-0 at home to Germany was a fantastic result. It put them in this position to be within 2 games of reaching the World Cup. Kosovo, they've been excellent themselves, unbeaten in 5. The only defeat was against Switzerland, like Alain said. So yeah, these are 2 teams that don't score a lot of goals, that keep things tight. They have very kind of structured types of play, styles of play. They're very good off the ball. They're kind of quite clever counter-attacking team, or they're patient counter-attacking teams. I think this could be Alain has went for the under when I'm going for the over, and I think I might be doing the opposite for this match, because both teams, they're only averaging a goal a game in qualifying so far, and Kosovo have only conceded 0.8 goals per game. So yeah, I'm not going for the goals market, but I'm going for a kind of nervy first half. I'm going for a draw in the first half at 2.05. Maybe the second half will be wide open and Alain's goals will come then.
Okay, they will be underdogs probably against Turkey. That should be in the other, or should be the rival in the final. And the really level one, balanced one is Ukraine, Sweden. You just need to check the odds, and also because they are playing in neutral ground. Of course, they are playing in Valencia. Ukraine to win is 3, Sweden to win is 2.6. This new Sweden with Potter on the bench being the big flop of the qualifiers in Europe, very, very poor with a lot of stars, with defeats against Switzerland, Kosovo, and draws with Slovenia, for instance. Not sure if they are able to raise the bar against Ukraine, Ronan, because it's very difficult to trust on this Sweden despite the big names.
Yeah, it is. The big names up front, they didn't really do a lot in qualifying. We're expecting, obviously, 𝘀𝗀𝗿𝗀 and Isaac to kind of, their goals to power them to the World Cup, but they weren't there. Isaac is injured, so he won't be doing a lot there. So yeah, it's hard to trust this Sweden team because they're very top heavy in their kind of big names, and they don't necessarily have the same kind of defensive discipline that Swedish teams have had in the past. That we maybe look back to World Cup 1994 when they had a great kind of defensive side. So yeah, this is not the Sweden of old. It's not even the Sweden of recent past. I don't think that they just don't look like a team that are on the same page as each other. And you saw a lot of that, and there was lots of kind of negativity around the previous head coach, and lots of stories coming from the dressing room, and that doesn't bode well for a team when there's kind of a lot of infighting around. And Graham Potter, I'm not sure he's necessarily turned things around. He hasn't had too much time with them because the international breaks, you only have maybe a week and a half with the players at a time, and then you won't see them again for another month. So it is hard to kind of to put your stamp on it unless maybe you have a kind of a May training camp or a June training camp, and I'm not sure it's necessarily going to be a pre-World Cup training camp that Graham Potter's going to have here for them, because they do have 2 games to make it to the World Cup, and based on the evidence we've seen so far in this qualifying campaign, they don't look good enough to qualify for the World Cup, and they don't deserve to be at the World Cup, and they still are the favourites in this match. Surprisingly, Ukraine, of all the teams, well, on paper, that are the home team in the European playoffs, they're the only one that aren't the favourite, although this match isn't in Ukraine, obviously, like you said. But yeah, I think Ukraine, they're being underestimated perhaps by the bookies. Smart bet here, 5 stars are going for both teams to score, yes, at 190. I'd like to look at that one, but 4 stars is giving to a Ukraine double chance, so they can get something over the 90 minutes. 158, but I even like the odds you listed at the start of Ukraine to win. I think they're good enough to beat this Sweden team, because I have not seen enough of this Sweden team to believe that they can beat other teams around their level or at a similar level.
And probably also about the manager, we have our friend Tom Rainey hating absolutely Potter. That's why his West Ham is where they are at the moment. Alain, really good odds indeed to beat Ukraine. Probably the best game, this one on paper.
Yes, on paper, yes. Now Ukraine right now arrived with this special motivation. Is probably the part of the draw most competitive, because who win this game will be play against Poland or Albania, and Ukraine-Poland can be really hard game for the history, for the political moment right now. Yes, Ukraine, we know his quality. Is a complete team. Most part of this team was win the World Championship under 20. Malinovsky and Zinchenko are not able to this game, but maybe Malinovsky can be affect a little. But we have a lot of very good players. From Tsingankov until Zabarny, Matvienko, in the middle with Yarmolyuk. Ukraine have a lot of alternative. We have Shaparenko. We have in my opinion, is most complete than Sweden. Sweden have amazing striker with 𝘀𝗀𝗿𝗀, Isaac, Elanga is in a very good moment of form. But after the defense, the middle. I miss something with Sweden. It's strange to say that, but since Potter arrived to the bench, the team improved a little, but he improved. He was able to score because since the beginning of the qualification, they have a strong problem in the relationship with the goal against Kosovo and against Switzerland. And Ukraine have a lot of solution in phase of possession of the ball. Is able to score against every rival, and for that reason, I choose both teams to score. Odds 1.90.
Okay, winner plays Poland or Albania here, and the last game is Wales-Bosnia. Wales are favorites to go to the final against Italy, probably 1.9 to win at home. They played in Qatar the last World Cup, remember, of course, with Gareth Bale, and they played a good qualifiers campaign. Alain, only 2 points behind Switzerland, smashing North Macedonia 7-1 in the last game. And Bosnia only played one World Cup, was in Brazil 2014 with Edin Dzeko. And they beat Romania, for instance, to be here. Wales to win pays pretty well, in my opinion.
Yes, his favorites when they're played at home in Cardiff is difficult for every team. Maybe in the last game we saw a Wales, especially against Belgium, with some limit against team with a lot of quality and team known to wait Wales. Because Wales won the possession of the ball against Belgium. It's strange to say that, but they won the possession of the ball, but in transition, the team suffer a lot. Right now, what will be the match plan? Because Bosnia is a team with quality, is a team with solution. Dzeko is doing really well in 𝗀𝗵𝗄 since he go to the Zweite Bundesliga. He's the leader. Is clearly his last dance, and you have strong motivation. After the winner of this match will meet Italy or North Ireland. But yes, for this team, in my opinion, Wales is favorite. Wales challenge the history, because in the history they never won a single game against Bosnia. In my opinion, the moment is coming, and Wales dream to play a final with Italy in the Millennium Stadium. I choose Wales winning, odds 1.91.
Ronan?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, you're talking about Gareth Bale playing for Wales last time at the World Cup, and then Alain saying Edin Dzeko is still playing. So I'm wondering, are they around the same age? And could Gareth Bale still be playing for Wales in this match? Because Edin Dzeko, be nice to see someone around my age go to the World Cup, and not Roger Mila.
Playing golf.
Not about Roger Mila back in 1990. Well, I did playing golf. More power to him, because a lot of Welsh fans, they're kind of more concerned maybe with the Rugby World Cup than the Football World Cup. But if they do get that final with Italy in Cardiff next Tuesday, I think they might start to turn their heads towards the Football World Cup a bit more. But yeah, this should be a very interesting match. I kind of like the look of this one. If Ireland weren't playing on Thursday evening, I might be tuning into this one. I think it has a lot about it. I like this Bosnia team. I think they're kind of being maybe underestimated as not being the favourites in this one, because they have a lot of great talent kind of all over the pitch. So I think they do have some good depth, and I think this could be another match that we could see a very entertaining game, because we've seen that Wales are well able to score goals. They scored 7 against North Macedonia, like you said, and Bosnia, they've on a great run themselves. Their only defeat in the group was against Austria, so I think they can be a match for anyone. So both teams to score, yes, I like the look of it too, and total goals over 225 at 193. I think this could be another one of these kind of lively, entertaining semi-finals.
Well, he's only 36, Gareth Bale. He's younger than 𝘀𝗵𝗄'𝘀, for instance, born in 1989. So, of course, he has the age to play in the World Cup, but not the willingness. I think he's enjoying life. Indeed, this is it, guys, for the European qualifiers, but we have 2 extra games to analyze. For you, it's a bit challenging, I know, but we are preparing hard for the World Cup. And these are the international qualifiers. to be played in Mexico. Already we have two semifinals. First one, Bolivia, Suriname. This is a level one, really balanced. Check out the odds. Bolivia to win 2.4, Suriname to win 2.1. The winner plays Iraq in the final. And here, Ronan, when we do our 𝘀𝗵𝗄𝗀 qualifiers with Leo, we are always saying that Bolivia, you should back them when they are playing at home and stay away from them when they play away from the altitude. This is not in Bolivia. Of course, that's why perhaps Suriname, even if they don't have as a big name as Bolivia, they've never been in a World Cup, they have their chance because, yeah, Bolivia are just so bad when they play away. Finally, they won a game away in Chile, but it was a strange game. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I think this could be a tight enough game because these are two teams maybe that kind of didn't live up to the potential that they set themselves in World Cup qualifying. Bolivia, obviously, they're in the South American qualifiers where it seems every team from South America qualifies, but they only came seventh, so they didn't get a chance to qualify automatically. And then we see them here, and like you said, they're not playing at home, so it is a tough task for them. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough task for Suriname because this was probably Suriname's best chance to reach the World Cup because they didn't have the hosts in the group stage or in the kind of qualifying stage, but they still kind of missed out to Panama in their group. So I think these are two teams that will have points to prove. Bolivia haven't been at the World Cup since 1994. So these are two teams that have kind of been in the international wilderness, and Iraq in the next game will be an even trickier tie for whoever goes through. So I think Bolivia, they might have enough about them. I know we're not to back them when they're playing away, but they on paper, for me, they had a more difficult qualifying campaign. They proved themselves a bit more often in the qualifying campaign, so I think they can edge it over 90 minutes. And I like the look of the 240 odds for them, and that's why I'm going with them.
Well, Bolivia, for sure, they are coming optimistic, Alain, after beating Brazil, kind of the opposite, because Suriname were kicked out by Panama in the last game. So, indeed, for Bolivia, it's even more positive being in this round of qualifiers.
Yes, but Suriname right now try to see some new player, Kluivert and Seedorf working for that, to try to catch passport with player in Netherlands, to add quality, to add experience, to add Eredivisie to this team. Suriname is a team from the Eredivisie, clearly. Now, the collective analysis, I miss something, and it's totally different with Bolivia, because Bolivia have a really strong block of Bolivar, and some player playing in Brazil, in Ecuador, in LAD Quito. There are players playing in Libertadores, and Bolivia is the most difficult team to predict when they're played away, because when we catch after the game against Brazil, the team have a strong problem with the goal. In 8 games, only 2 goals scored, and yes, that one can be a limit. But Suriname, without the ball, we saw some limit during the final stage of the qualification in CONCACAF, and for that reason, I choose both teams to score. Odds 2.00.
Suriname lost to Guatemala, that's why they are not in the World Cup, and Venezuela was the favorite to qualify, but at the end Bolivia beat Brazil, Venezuela lost, therefore Bolivia have a chance to play these semifinals in Monterrey, and the winner plays Iraq, as I said, in the final. And the other semifinal is New Caledonia, Jamaica. New Caledonia to win is 30, no one trust this newish team. Of course, they are part of France. They were second after New Zealand, but lost 3-0 to New Zealand. This is their level. Alain, really far away from a top team. They were able to beat Gibraltar, for instance, recently, 2-0. And Jamaica, indeed, they have professional players. They are out so far from the World Cup because they drew with Curaçao, is the one that qualified instead of Jamaica, but this team already played the World Cup in 98, and RD Congo is waiting in the final, probably against Jamaica.
Most than probably. Some bookmakers don't put odds for this game because it's so difficult to trust in New Caledonia. Yes, it's Oceania without Australia is the weakest federation. And what is the chance of New Caledonia? For New Caledonia to play this game is his winning World Cup. They'll go to Mexico between France to play that game. We saw them in the airport, and they have the dress code to people go to the beach, no? And yes, there will be enjoy, in my opinion, Mexico right now. Yes, I think Jamaica is interesting because it is a team from English football. We have players from the Premier League, the Championship, the League One. It was strange to lose the qualification against Curaçao because the team was at home. It was the last. I am curious if Jamaica go to the World Cup, if Greenwood can be chosen to play with Jamaica. They are speaking about that. And yes, for this game, for these two games, I think Greenwood can be really the lights of the key player need Jamaica right now in offensive way. In spite of that, I think Jamaica is really favorite, and I choose Jamaica win both half odds 2.10.
Of course, well, they go to Guadalajara, very close to tequila, Ronan, so they can enjoy Mexican culture indeed, New Caledonian players.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a party atmosphere for New Caledonia, regardless of what happens. But I think it's some of these one-off matches, you can sometimes underestimate the weaker side, because New Caledonia, they're 150th in the world, which obviously is not good. Obviously, they are not one of the world's leading lights. But Jamaica are only 70th, and they haven't had a good time of it recently. They haven't been a great team on the international front. They have kind of had problems with the Jamaican Football Federation and agents and players and clubs. There's been lots of drama off the pitch in Jamaica. They've had various kind of big name managers come through and fail. Steve McLaren had adopted the accent after a week there. I think if we remember, there was plenty of videos of him going around. They had Ireland's current manager was their manager for a while, Hallgrimsson. He had a falling out with the association. He was meant to be staying and then he left for Ireland. So yeah, there's always kind of stuff going on off the pitch that kind of maybe can leak into the performances on the pitch sometimes in Jamaica. Maybe that's why they don't always live up to their potential. But New Caledonia, they should be happy enough to be here. They do not have many of the world's leading lights playing for them, it's fair to say. They have 3 players who play for Vertu in the French 5th division. Yeah, they're the champion national 3, I think, maybe, 3, as it would be in French. Yeah, they have plenty of players who play in New Caledonia, and they have 1 player who plays in the Saudi Arabian Pro League. So, yeah, Angelo Fulgini, he is going to make his debut in this match, and maybe he can be the man to change things from. He's on loan from Ligue 1, so maybe he can be the man to send them to the World Cup. He probably won't be, but I think because the odds are so heavily in Jamaica's favour, I think if New Caledonia could keep it close, maybe there might be some money to be made there. New Caledonia Asian handicap plus 2.75 is 196. So as long as they don't get absolutely obliterated by Jamaica, there could be money to make, especially in the first half, where New Caledonia Asian handicap minus or plus 1.25 for the first half is 173. Maybe they could keep it close, and maybe that's the option for me.
Difficult. Well, Congo is waiting in the final. As I said, these are all the games we have internationally. Plenty of games, plenty of action, very interesting Thursday in international football. And this is all the info we have to offer you. Remember, of course, that we have our tipster competitions going on. We will have one for the World Cup. So far, you can enjoy the Premier League one or our monthly tipster competitions, and also check out Rivals, where you can create your own tipster league. Let's go with your safe bets, Alain.
Denmark winning odds 1.32.
Ronan?
I hope I don't jinx it on Alain. My safe bet is Italy to win at 134.
And Akas, Alain?
Denmark, Macedonia, Denmark winning with over 2.5 goals in the game. Wales winning, Ukraine, Sweden, both teams to score, and Bolivia, Suriname, both teams to score, total 14.15.
Wow, really, really high odds. Ronan?
Yeah, not quite as high, but I've gone for over 2.25 goals in all these games. Turkey versus Romania, Poland versus Albania, and Ukraine versus Sweden. And that's a total of 592.
All right. I'm surprised that you can see so many goals in these nervy games. But let's see what we see. And guys, let's analyze the finals in some days. So stay tuned to our channel and see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.